Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello. It's afternoon. I'm not used to this afternoon thing anymore, Sam. I was like, it's dark in my office.
I know it's nap time. Um, for those of us who work from home and take naps, it's totally nap time. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'm excited to have our guest here. Today is Giving Tuesday across the globe, I think. Hey?
I think, yeah, I would say
Yeah.
it's that far by now.
And our guest is not only Truro famous, but she also runs the United Way of Colchester County, which is obviously involved with Giving Tuesday. So let's bring her on, Sarah Flemming. Hello.
Hi.
Uh,
How are you both?
How,
How's it going?
good. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. Happy to be here.
So for anyone behind the scenes, or not behind the scenes, we obviously have these conversations already. We already know how each other is doing, but for the sake of our going live, we always rehash these conversations. But I'm so happy to see you in person-ish. Because we've talked about it so much just this year has been so crazy not being able to have in-person conversations with people.
mm-hmm.
How have you been making out?
I hate it. As a super extrovert, it is very hard for me to not feel energized when I'm around people. So I find it's hard for me to get excited and feel energized. So I just sort of try and get outside as much as I can. Even if I could just see people, it helps a bit.
Yes. And you're working in the United Way office, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So it's Heather and I here in the office Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. Typically, there's always the days where that's kind of the beauty of COVID is I guess as bad as it is, there's always a silver lining, but the ability to work from home now when I have a sick kid or, if I'm waiting for an Amazon package that I don't want to be left outside, you can work from home for the afternoon. So it's nice to be able to have that flexibility where in the past it wasn't something that was done.
Mm-hmm. And you have taking on this position brand new. Well, not brand new anymore, but you still have some shine on you.
Oh, yes, it's very new. Yes, so I started the 1st of September. So, we were starting anything new, I guess, mid-pandemic, AGM, and then our kickoff all in the first month. So it was daunting, to say the least. But it's also, I think that's the best way to learn. When you have no other choice, you just jump in and get to it. And, the work happens, I think, regardless of if you're keeping up with it or not. So it's just kind of prioritizing things and asking lots and lots of questions and reaching out when you need help.
Mm-hmm. And you guys were kind of, so we already mentioned, obviously, you're new to the position at the United Way, but you guys were kind of the first, I feel like you were the first organization to really bring an event online this year in our community anyway, with your virtual, I should say, campaign launch. And I find it went pretty well. You did it with Truro Buzz.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I think Raj and Alicia just have so much energy and they're so much fun. So, it's hard to, and just the Truro Buzz office in and of itself I would like to work there. They have a great time. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think we, brought energy and did the best we could under the circumstances to highlight not only the organizations that we're fortunate to support, but, how we support the community and how we hope to continue support. And then the opportunity to just thank everybody that makes this all possible. So, in 30 minutes, because it's the kickoff luncheon is, it's nice to have, we had some speakers in, and typically it's over an hour kind of thing, but I think I'll speak on behalf of myself and probably many others. An hour online when you're engaged, it's not so bad, but when you're watching it, it's exhausting. It's hard to sort of stay focused for that long. So we really kind of cut it down, and I think it worked well. It was fun.
I mean, talk about energy. We had both of those folks on one of our Truro famous chats previously to Alicia and Raj separately, of course, but Raj, I think, like, no disrespect to anybody else from our conversations, but I think Raj was my favorite because he just made us laugh the whole time. Like, we were just like cracking up. And to have him on your board, you must feel so lucky.
Yeah, he's just always so positive and so he's just great. Raj is awesome.
Yes.
We're very lucky
Sean
to have him.
just commented and said Sarah is awesome. So there you go.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you for that. And yes, ask Sarah any questions or just tell us you're here. Say hello. We can engage with you guys through the comments, anyone who's watching. So we'd love to hear from you. So Sarah, I'm going to go back before we get too much into what you're doing with the United Way, because you are a Truro girl. Yes, you were born here.
I am. Yeah, born and raised in Truro.
Yes, and so I have to bring up, because sometimes Truro fame is in our lineage, so I have to bring up the fact that your dad is Jim Flemming.
Yes, he is. Yes. Yeah.
You knew I couldn't go through this whole conversation without talking about Jim Flemming. I love him.
No, and he's great. I couldn't ask for a better dad. He's pretty fantastic. Both my parents are, so I'm very lucky.
Yeah,
to have great parents. But yes, dad is, I don't know, maybe infamous. I don't know. He's definitely carries a title with him wherever he goes. So
yeah, it's just a super recognizable face. And he, of course, for anybody watching who doesn't know, is the former deputy police chief, but also now new town councillor for Ward 2, which is, I'm sure, exciting and a huge change for him. But yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And I've had the opportunity in meeting a couple times with the majority of the newly elected councillors here in town, and they're bringing the fire. Like, it's really great to see just around things like affordable housing and poverty reduction, and really engaged in the community, and not only on a business level or infrastructure, those things, but really engaging with what are we doing to address poverty in our community, and how are we making changes, and what do we want to see. And it's so inspiring, and it's so fantastic that they're just engaged and on board. Yeah. And I'm sure for all of us in 4 years, we'll be like, and I really hope we're not still having the same conversations in 4 years, because sometimes it feels that way. But I think new folks bring new ideas and new energy, and it's great to see. I think it's awesome for the town.
And I know, Sarah, we've known each other for a number of years. So I kind of know, obviously, your passion and your advocacy started well before your position with the United Way. And I think part of what you're known for, and part of what I think probably, I don't know, but why Sean Strange, I don't know Sean Strange, but I'm sure why he's saying you're awesome, is because you're so passionate, and you do, those causes are just like at the root of you. And now you get to do it every day. That must be a pretty cool feeling.
I love it. Like, I think just even, and I, had that conversation a couple of times today, but just around, working with clients and being sort of on the ground in that frontline work was amazing. And I loved every single minute of it. But you heard the same story from different people over and over and over again, like how the systems aren't set up for people. And so I think being able to be in this position and hopefully be a part of seeing systems change here in Colchester County it's huge. It's a dream come true. To say that at 37 is a little bit scary, because I'm like, no one wants to burn out early, but I think there's always work to do, and just to be able to be a part of it is fantastic. I couldn't ask for more, and it's such a great fit, and it really feels like all this sort of steps along the way. And I think, the questions of, am I making the right move, or am I moving in the right direction, or doing the right things? It's nice to, I really feel home with United Way, and just the support and our board and just the organization as a whole across the whole country is fantastic. So it's great to be a part of.
So cool. And all of the sort of things that you've been doing behind the scenes or in your personal life and professional life have sort of led to this amalgamated position. I mean, I think it's just a perfect fit for you too, not to jinx you or anything at 37, but I do. I was going to put that out there.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah. And I am really happy to be here. And it's just so nice to be able to keep learning and growing, and working with different people. And I hope, like, I'm also very fortunate to have some incredible mentors locally that are running nonprofit organizations that have, you know, have my back and are supportive and are open and really believe in sort of what I'm doing and what I can do, and we're working together. And it's cool to see that I hope that I can do for others what they're doing for me now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if it was one of these conversations or it's been a recent conversation that I've had. And I think you were part of it, Sarah. It might have been during a Women's Social Network conversation that we had, but we were saying how there's so many strong people, but in particular strong women who are behind the nonprofits in Colchester County.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so cool to see that.
Yeah, I think and even the business community here. I mean, our small business community is thriving, and primarily due to female-led, organizations and businesses, and it is fantastic. I think we're very lucky not only to have that, but to have the space for it. Like, I think if it was, we could live in a place that there is no room for it. You know what I mean? Like, so it wouldn't be a welcoming community. It wouldn't be something that you would feel encouraged to start a new business or take over an organization or any of those things. But you step into any room around here and you're always met with cheers and well wishes, and people really just we want to help each other succeed.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty special.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. Like and having lived away, I've only been back in Truro. It'll be back working in Truro. It'll be 3 years this February. And I can't and I owe Truro a lot to where I am today and what I'm doing, because I don't think that I would be doing it without Truro, without that community behind me. I don't think it would happen. Just people believing in me and not creating barriers, just sort of opening doors and letting things happen. So I'm very thankful for this place.
That's great. And I think people say that, but you play a part in that too, right? Like, I know it absolutely is having the supportive place to step in, but I'm just reading this comment that's on our page here. I don't know if you can see it there, Sarah. You're playing a part in that as well. So Sean says, I took part in groups at Maggie's Place with Sarah. She's amazing. I know many moms who wish Sarah was still putting on the class, especially during the pandemic. So yeah, that's really sweet. Yeah,
we did. That was our mom's mental health group that we did with CMHA and Maggie's Place. And then it went really well there. So we took it to East Hants as well. So we had the opportunity to provide that mom's mental health in both those places, in both counties. And I think, thinking over the course of running the program, I had to guess, it was a while ago, but off the top, I'd say we probably saw over 60 moms. So I think just even that impact alone, that's 60 moms, that's 60 families, that's 60 people in a community that are now benefiting from a better mental health. And then they're going to engage more in their community. And there's just, that positive spiral is just really cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. It's really awesome. I mean, and like Sean saying, mental health during a pandemic, I mean, we need more and more. I feel like resources right now for mental health support for people who have never experienced mental health issues maybe before, and now all of a sudden they're experiencing anxiety or whatnot. And it's difficult to know where to go for support like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, because before we went live, we were talking about the Elves for Elders program, which I can't quite remember how many years it's been on, but maybe tell us a little bit about what's happening with that program, Sarah.
Sure. So we have, and I want to say this is the 4th year.
Okay.
But I don't have my door open. Usually I can look at Heather and she'll give me the I actually have notes. She wrote me notes so that I have them so that I don't mess up. She's the best. So I want to say 4 years, but I might be wrong. So please, if anyone wants to correct me, I would appreciate that. So we have 5 different locations that the trees are set up. And this year we've had, a lot of people invested and interested. And so I think we'll see about 150 seniors that will have gifts this year at Christmas, which is so great.
Great.
Yeah.
I think part of this whole thing, pandemic 2020 thing, has been a bit of a spotlight put on our seniors, and the issues of not only, those who are at home who might be dealing with loneliness, but I know both of my parents were in long-term care and they were still around while this was happening. It would have been, I don't think my dad would have made it through the year, right? Because when you take away any family they might have, or any visitors, anybody from the outside world, which, we're just trying to protect them, but at the, detriment of their mental health too. And I was saying before we went on, I participated in Elves for Elders the last couple of years, and it's so heartwarming because they want a fuzzy blanket or warm socks or body wash or a loofah.
Yeah.
The things we don't think twice about, but they're little luxuries when you're in a care situation.
And I think I love to see people's response. Like I came in today and we have a case of Pepsi, like 24 cans of Pepsi, because on one of the stockings it was they had asked for Pepsi, and so which is awesome. But I think like the little cans. So I was like, I love it. Like that person is just going to be over the moon to think that they have like here's a whole case of Pepsi that they get to have. And I think it's nice where we do get to work with the program coordinators in the long-term care facilities, because then they can identify sort of not only who needs it, but if it's appropriate. Like, you never, if a diabetic's asking for a full case of Pepsi, we don't want to be facilitating that. That's not. So we work closely with them either. Right. So it's those things that, we work very closely with them to make sure that everything fits together and everyone's safe. And, and this year we're closing up a little earlier, so that there's time to get the gifts to the facility so that they can quarantine, I guess. Yeah. So they're going to quarantine the gifts before they go out to the individual seniors.
Oh my gosh, that's something I never even thought of. Of course, you got to adjust for the pandemic. Wow. That's good though.
Yeah. But we have a whole, it looks like Santa's Village in here, so it's great. We have a whole back room full of presents and it's a lot of fun.
So awesome. And this might be a Heather question too, but is 150 up from previous years? Do you know?
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. We've had a lot of even, we had a local school reach out that the grade 2 class, the kids were interested and they wanted to participate. And we had a Pathfinders group reach out. They wanted something. So just things like that, not necessarily even getting gifts, where they can make cards, or they're going to do little melted snowman things with hot chocolate that could be attached to the gifts. So I think it's a way to engage sort of the younger generation too. And because kids love to be part of that. They like to, if it's making crafts or knowing that they're making someone's day I think it's great for everyone.
Yes. Oh, that's so great. I love that part of this pandemic. It's like, I know there's nothing good. Like, you in broad scopes, you look at it and you say, oh, there's nothing good about this. But like, you just look at that and you think that is a positive, that people are actively seeking ways that they can reach out to seniors or reach out to other people. It's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even like our nonprofit community here, when everything shut down in March, it was like, that's a flip, right? Like it's outside of the realm of any serving a population that's low income or doesn't have access to internet or can't do online things or whatever. They took everything they could and completely made it accessible for the folks that they support safely, which is wild. So I think that even that of itself, just the resilience, I guess, I see in our community locally is, it's great. Like, I think we've all adapted and readapted and adapted again. And it's not without heartache or any of those things. It's not to diminish sort of the stress that came with the pandemic, but I think it definitely shows what we're capable of doing and just the grit of our community.
Totally. Yeah. And so because it is Giving Tuesday, what does that mean for United Way?
So Giving Tuesday for us is, it's not something that we've really done a whole lot. This is our second year. So last year, they had done up little sort of baskets with like tea and some cookies and stuff like that, and with volunteers and board members and Terry. And they went to 11 different organizations, I think, and did site visits and dropped these things off. And And I actually remember them coming into CMHA, because CMHA at that time, we had the new building.
Yeah.
And it often felt like you were kind of living in a zoo, because you'd see someone come down with the tour. You'd be like, there's Sarah. You'd be like, hi. Like, this is what she does. You're not. Like, it was great. But yeah, so I remember them coming last year. So this year, we can't do that. So we've had some little thank you cookies made, and I just sort of went and masked dropped off cookies to 7 organizations this year. So but Giving Tuesday really is just, I guess it's an opportunity to say thank you and acknowledge the folks that are just doing the hard work a lot without a whole lot of recognition. I think our nonprofit and charitable community, they work tirelessly and usually without a whole lot of recognition. It's, I think, pretty clear to anyone that no one ever gets into nonprofit for the money. So it's not a job that anyone's doing for a new Mercedes or, that summer home and wherever. So I think it's done out of love and just a really wanting to see change in the community, and, just the opportunity to acknowledge that is great. So that's my perception of Giving Tuesday.
I spent 10 years as a fundraiser, Sarah, so in a variety of different organizations. So I laugh when you say you don't get it. I think my second year of self-employment, I made more than my last year of working in nonprofit. Mm-hmm. So it's truly, you have to have your heart in it too. And yeah, the appreciation isn't always there. So when you get to say thank you, it's always a good thing, for sure.
Yeah. And it is.
Oh, sorry, Sarah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, just furthering what you had said, like I'm amazed at with nonprofits, because I've worked in nonprofit before too, and where it's like, you aren't just your title. You know what I mean? Like, you as executive director, I mean, you're saying you've got you and Heather there. So obviously, there's roles that you have to play that, and a normal person, you know what I mean? Running an organization wouldn't normally have to do, but you have to kind of be that jack of all trades in a nonprofit environment.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think we actually have a joke about, making a video and just having like, and up next is our social media manager, and just like coming out different hats, like, yeah, nice to meet you. And then you go back, because, we do it all. It's good in some ways. I think it's just hard. The only struggle is that when, particularly like speaking with a bigger organization, and they're like, can you get your social media person to, put this on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it when I can. That's me.
I'll ask you right now.
Or reporting or anything, we do it all, and it's great, but it definitely makes it a little bit trickier sometimes.
Yeah, I can't get over.
Oh, sorry, Sam. I tend to say, since I started working with clients and that sort of thing, I never really say no to anything, because I spent my career not saying no. I can't do something. Okay, we'll figure out how to do it, because if we don't do it, nobody else will. So that's kind of the mindset that even 8 years later, I still have. It's like, okay, we need to pitch in, but that's the nonprofit mindset. Because if you have 2 staff people, yourself and Heather, never worked in an office that was bigger than 8 people. And that was big for me.
Yeah.
When you're a small group and you need to get stuff done, you just do it, and you don't think twice about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's not really a teachable skill either. That, like, it's something that, if it's going to get done, then you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then it doesn't get done. So it is, you're quick to prioritize sort of what needs to kind of come off the top of the list, and then going down from there. And I think that's the hard, I guess another hard thing too, is that, we have a lot of conversations in this office about all the stuff that we would really love to do. And then it's, okay, well, what's realistic? Like, what's realistic and that we can do, and where, and I'm like always a like big idea. Like, I love it. I'm like a kid. Like, I could just want to talk about all the great things all the time. So it is important to say, like, okay, well, what is feasible with the hours in the day and what we have here, and how can we do it, or do it slowly rather than like just start it right away. So
yes, totally.
I used
So
to we used to joke about job descriptions, you know, when you're having a bad day and be like, that's not my job description. Wait,
Yeah.
what's the job description?
Yes. Other duties.
Yes, as required.
what, on a personal note, Sarah, what are your plans for the holidays? Like, I know everybody's sort of shifting and reevaluating things right now, but what are your plans? Has the pandemic really shifted your plans too much?
It's still pretty up in the air. So my husband's from Bedeck, so we're
Okay.
hopeful to be able to get to visit my in-laws. We were lucky to see them over Thanksgiving, so that was nice. But it's hard because they, you know, you don't want to bring anything there, and I don't know if they would be comfortable coming this way. So yeah, we'll see. I'm hopeful that we'll get to see them over the holidays, but I'm not sure what that will look like. And my on my side of the family, we have a huge Boxing Day party with like my mom's families. There's 5 kids, so all of my aunts and uncles and cousins and our kids, and it's a huge event that we probably won't get to do this year. So that's also really sad. So yeah, so it'll be different, but you know, I'm looking forward to the downtime to just sort of relax and unwind and eat chocolate and yeah, not check
All the
emails.
good things.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And I guess people are probably right now starting to think, how can we try to emulate those holiday events, like those gatherings that families have virtually? I don't know if people are going to do that or not, but maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be. I have no desire to do that at all. Another Zoom meeting over the holidays is like, yeah, no, I'm good.
No.
I'm all right.
I
I'll
know.
see you when I see you.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess, yeah, you're right. I guess I'm thinking like to sort of, I don't know, replace maybe the feeling of missing those events. It might be a better alternative, but yeah, you're
Yeah,
probably right. It feels too much like a meeting.
it does. I mean, it might be fun to do like a family trivia
Yeah.
Yes, like an
and like send that out, like sort of like, you know, who would be most likely to whatever.
Yes, that is
And
actually a
then,
really fun idea.
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. If any of my cousins are watching, and you want to take that on, feel free. I'll
You're like,
help. But
just to be clear, I'm not volunteering to do this.
It's a great idea for someone to do.
yeah.
Now my wheels are turning though for my own family.
Yeah. It could be fun. It could be fun.
Yeah, it could be. Although I might just be watching Hallmark movies for the rest of 2020. I don't know.
That's where I'm at with it all.
Pretty
Yeah.
standard. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
So we did mention the kickoff, the campaign kickoff back in September, Sarah. So, I mean, the workplace campaign this would be a tough year to be doing a workplace campaign.
yeah. I think, you know, we haven't, so our campaign just ended, like officially ended yesterday. So we don't really have a good number for pledges or pledge loss or sort of where we're at. However, I think it's pretty standard across the Atlantic provinces that we're seeing like, you know, a loss 25 to 30% with the workplace campaigns and different like that. Although we have seen an increase in like our corporate donations or just the folks that, you know, give year after year have given an extra $100, that sort of thing. So it's really been individual driven, which is, I think, again, speaks to just people want to see the work still be done and have a part in making sure that it does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it is such an interesting year, interesting in that way of like not funny, haha.
Yeah.
But I remember when, you know, all this is happening and thinking about all of the fundraising events that were being shut down and all of the campaigns and all of this stuff that these are like the cogs and gears that keeps going in our community. And it's not like I remember, you know, working for an organization when the tsunami happened in South Asia, and all of a sudden all the money was going there. And we were feeling a little tight because people were putting their money where the need was. But now like the need is everywhere, and everyone is kind of, again, you know, in the same storm. We might not be in the same boat, but you really hope that, you know, even I feel for the small little charities that might not have the ability to, you know, carry on regardless.
Yeah, and it's definitely, it is scary and it's tricky. I think I do. I have faith in this community and what we can do and what we'll continue to do. I think the work speaks for itself, and the organizations that we're able to fund and support, that good work is going to continue to happen, and I hope that we can continue to support them. But I think that Colchester County as a whole, are great supporters of our local businesses. Everything are great supporters of United Way, and we're just so thankful for all that support. And that's, I think, a hard thing too, is how do we say thank you to people in a way that's effective and meaningful, and not just dropping off masks.
Yeah,
like it's we get we have tons of our big leader donors that are fantastic and so good year after year to support United Way. And that was the beauty of the kickoff luncheon, was that opportunity to thank them for that and their commitment to United Way. And so without that, I think that we were sad to miss that, and kind of often thought about how do we say thank you to our donors and make sure that they know and they feel how much they're appreciative, and how how thankful we are to have them.
Because there's so much, there's so many nonprofits. There's so many great businesses that support the nonprofits. Oftentimes you see the same names of businesses that are supporting all of the nonprofits. But we kind of touched on this a bit too. The nonprofits support each other too, which I don't know if that's an anomaly for a community like this. But I love, even on social media, you see one nonprofit sharing the information from another nonprofit, which, when you're technically fighting for the same funds, pretty awesome to see that.
Yeah, and we have a few of our supported agencies that do workplace campaigns for us, which is so great. It's so cool, I think their employees are investing back in the organization, which is it's really neat to see. It's very reciprocal, so it's awesome.
And same goes, we've talked about this before with a lot of our previous guests too, is the business community is the same. Your competition, you're still working to support your competition, because you recognize that bringing people into town is good for all, kind of thing, right? Because if they're here, they might buy from me and also from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's that, the scarcity versus abundance kind of thought process of if we are thinking abundantly and how we are, helping each other and everyone's working together, and it's just cohesive and it works and it feels good. And I think people that are either they're using the services or shopping at the businesses, they recognize that. It's awesome to know that all the places on English Street are working together, and they're, or downtown Truro partnership dollar days. Those things that's what gets people down and moving around and shopping at different places. And it's very cool to see. Truro's a great place.
Very true.
We feel the
same. We love it. Local.
Yeah, we just get people on here who feel the same way about us, and then we just sit here and talk about how great we all are. Sarah, you're awesome. Yeah, it is. Well, it is. And it's come a long way in the last 5 or 6 years in particular, and I think it's an amazing place to live, even in the midst of a pandemic.
It is, yeah.
I think especially in the midst of a pandemic, we have, being small is helpful in these times.
Yeah,
because you do feel a certain, I know that could pop at any moment, but a certain level of safety and that sort of thing. And you still kind of get to see people, when you're grocery shopping or whatever. So there's still a social element that you might lose out on in a city or a bigger city. So I think I'm happy to be here right now. So
yeah, I think there's a level of trust too. We know that the people that are around us are going to do a good job, and we can trust that they will.
Yes, exactly.
Totally. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Are the neighbors and every.
I'm going to put you on the spot because earlier you said that you have a couple of mentors in the nonprofit world. Do you want to like do a couple shout outs? Are you comfortable doing that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hopefully they are. Susan Henderson, and she's fantastic, and I love her so much. Linda Legier is amazing. Terry Hearn is awesome. You know, I think those three women off the top are, and I have many more.
Yes.
But those three women off the top have just been so great and so gracious with my questions and with their leadership and guidance. And I can't ask for better people to have in my corner.
That's so cool. Terry in particular, because she of course had the role before you. And so to be able to, I mean, that just shows, I mean, we all know Terry personally as well, but you just shows her character to know she just wants the organization to still flourish. So she'll walk whoever through to make sure that it's in good hands.
Yeah. And the work gets done.
Yeah, for sure. And I love Susan and Linda too. They're just
so great.
Dream team right there.
Yes.
Yeah. You've got some good people in your corner.
To see the work that they've both done in the growth of their organizations, and it's just really neat to see sort of that trajectory for them. And I hope to be able to kind of follow the same example for sure.
Yes. Oh, that's so awesome. And if you guys are watching, we all love you. Thank you for everything in the community. Very cool, ladies. So I feel like we're coming up on the last part. One of the things that I liked about, before we get to our last question, one of the things I liked about our chat with Charlie Acourt is we started talking about like schools that he went to and like really getting into sort of like some Truro conversations. Do you have any like favorite teachers that you want to talk about or experiences from the schools that you went to?
Oh my goodness. Wow. So I went to Alice Street Elementary, which was probably the best school I think, ever. My grade 3 teacher, Miss Upham, was fantastic. She let us, she lives, I don't know if anyway, she lives on Wood Street. I don't know if she still lives there or not, but she had an in-ground pool in her backyard, and she brought us all up on the last day of school to go swimming and have hot dogs and stuff at her house. Oh yeah, she's great. So I'm so fortunate. Like that's, I think the fan, and love it or hate it, but I love living in a town where like everyone knows me and my business, like, and I'm okay with it. I've had so many friends that I've had for over 30 years, and I just, and have gone through all those stages of my life of like, being a little kid with skin knees and whatever to like the junior high terrible days and high school, and then having babies and getting married and all of those things. It's just neat to know that you're like the same people have been consistently throughout your life for those things, and can really kind of take you down a notch when you need that too. Sometimes I need that.
That's not so fun, but you're right. Sometimes you need it. I get it. That's so amazing. I'm still stuck on the going to the pool. That's like
awesome.
It was a highlight.
To a teacher's house and they have a pool. Incredible.
I can't even imagine that ever happening in this. I mean, obviously not in the middle of a pandemic, but even like
imagine the insurance,
right? Yes.
Now it would be like, no, or there'd be like 18 parents around the outside, just
yeah.
The 80s and 90s were a good time to be kids.
Oh, it was, it was the best.
What's so funny about it though is that, and I've talked about this before too, where you just kind of don't think your teachers leave the school. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't have a life outside of school. Like if you'd ever run into them in the mall, it would be like they're in jeans. Like what is happening in the world? They have a child. Like,
or those other kids that you don't know.
Yeah.
Who are these kids?
So to go to her house would have just been like, oh my gosh, like breaking through some
really
kind of, I don't even know. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, and I'm living back in the same neighborhood I grew up in. So Princeton Heights for life, which was also a fantastic place to grow up. There was always kids around. We manhunt. We were always out doing something. Sometimes getting into trouble, but mostly usually pretty good.
Yeah, sure, Sarah. That'll be our after hours conversation.
It was always great.
Or maybe we'll get Jim on and he'll tell us the real story.
Don't. I told my husband a story that there was a really cute boy in our neighborhood, and he was a couple of years older than me. And my dad picked us, my friend and I, up in the police car. We were like in grade 6, and he was, I don't know, anyway, dropping us off. So we were going through the neighborhood, and these 2 older boys, and he pulled over and he goes, do you guys know either one of these girls? They're runaways. And we were like, I think anyway, I cried the whole way home. I was so embarrassed. Anyway.
And that's why we love Jim Flemming.
Yeah, it was terrible. Anyway, just a glimpse into what my childhood was. You get a yeah, there's no room for thin skin. That's for sure.
But look at who it turned you into today, Sarah.
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. No more runaways. Don't care. Fine.
That's so awesome. All right, Michelle, what do you think? Last question?
Yeah. Well, our last question is always one of our awards for Local Love Truro Awards is the most loved place to show off Truro. So what is your most favorite place in town to take people when they come away or?
Ooh, I love Novelty. Can I pick a place?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I love Novelty. I cannot wait for their new place to be set back up again, and I love watching what they're doing on Instagram. And that's probably if I have a friend coming from out of town, or that's where we'll meet up, or we'll go and have something nice to drink and snack on before we go. And then I love Nook and Cranny's great. It's always food. I like if I'm going with sushi. Thai's good. We have there's a lot of diversity here now, which is great.
Yes.
We never had that in the past. So yeah, I like to sort of make my rounds. I like English Street and along Prince, and there's all, I don't know, I can't pick. I'm not going to say Victoria Park though, because that's probably not somewhere that I would take someone. Not because I don't like it. Victoria Park's amazing, but I would probably go eat.
Yeah.
It's
Victoria Park if somebody wants to go there and they're
for sure. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
my dog loves it.
Really, it's not my suggestion.
No.
Let's go downtown.
It is admittedly mine, but oftentimes it's for me. Kids, my friends will bring their kids, and so it's just a beautiful. I mean, it's amazing for kids to explore through Victoria Park. Yeah. But Novelty's a great one, and I agree. I love watching the behind the scenes stuff, and I think it's going to be even better. Am I allowed?
Oh, me too. That fireplace, I can't wait to see what they do with it. I could just picture the floor to ceiling books, and I'm so excited.
It just feels like a better fit overall for their vibe kind of thing.
Yeah.
Still in the same neighborhood too, which is nice.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, cool. Well, hey, thank you so much for chatting with us today. Was there anything else that you were just itching to tell us that we didn't cover?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah, please. I hope, if people have any questions for me or follow up or want to know more about United Way, please reach out. I'm passionate about the organization and what we do, or if you have any ideas for what you want to see around poverty reduction or affordable housing or anything like that in Colchester County, please reach out.
Awesome. I love that. And Sarah, you're going to get the sneak peek into our next week's guest and event. Okay. We're actually doing a holiday celebration for our last Truro Famous Live chat of 2020, which is going to be next Thursday, December 10th at 10 a.m. We're going to have our pal.
At 10 a.m.
We're going to have our pal Heather Laura Clark on, because every year Heather, do you follow Heather on Instagram?
I do.
Every year Heather does a self-employment Christmas party where it's a party of one, and it is hilarious. She has and I'm actually on our Local Love page, I'm going to share some of her previous parties in a couple of days so people can catch up on what she's been doing. But we're going to have basically a virtual celebration of the holidays with Heather next Thursday.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah. I mean, so many people are going to be celebrating in different ways this year, virtually or by themselves in their new home office or whatever they're doing. Yeah. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the three of us are all self-employed. So, and every time she's done it, I'm like, oh, I should do that. It was an excuse to do it ourselves.
Christmas party. I hope there's karaoke this year.
Oh,
that'll be my request. I'm just
karaoke.
Oh
Do you know
God,
what?
I'm so bad singer.
At 10 a.m.
Yeah.
I can do karaoke at 10 a.m. I can, especially if it's Kenny and Dolly and two of us are doing a duet. I don't care if it's you or Heather Michelle. Two of us, or maybe Sarah will come back and make a surprise guest.
Oh my gosh! Don't threaten me with a good time. I will happily dress up as Kenny just to do. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, maybe we will have some special guests. We have a week to plan this now, so anything can happen.
Oh, great. I look forward to it.
So thanks to everybody for watching, and thanks again to you, Sarah, for joining us. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
See you guys
Bye.
next week.